Hello, this is Miri. I hope you can understand me in this video because the noise of the street is coming up, but I just love the sun, so you can't get me out of here. This video is for you, Harley&Freelee, because I have a very big question for you. As you might know, I have done a video series on the issue of overtraining, on my issue of overtraining, and which I think is more of an issue than many people think, and I wouldn't have thought that as well before, that I would get such an issue. And the purpose of this video is I seek your opinion on that. I know that this whole topic is highly under-addressed, and I think also unknown in the high-carb vegan community, and I really feel the need to change this. And I know that you guys have so much media coverage, and you give your opinion on everything, and I appreciate your opinion. I think highly of you. Yeah, that means if you made a video on that topic, and if you react to my question, a lot of people would get to know your opinion, and I think you would help a lot of people with that. So my intention is to get this message, this phenomenon of overtraining and adrenal fatigue out there, because it was such a huge issue for me, and no one really could help me in the high carb community. My statement is, and my understanding of what I experienced is, that by having gotten into adrenal fatigue by overtraining, my body got into a state where it couldn't tolerate carbs properly anymore, where it couldn't handle that many carbs at one time anymore, because I got blood sugar issues, like in diabetes type 2. I got that by blood test results, and also got a measuring thing like a glucometer to measure my blood sugar, and it frequently was like through the roof, like up to 190 milligrams per deciliters, whatever. And also I got issues with too low sodium, which I never have thought it even exists, and got issues with potassium rich foods. So I found that out by reading literature. I wouldn't have come on that myself, that people experiencing adrenal fatigue have these issues and symptoms, and I kind of forced myself to actually supplement a bit of sodium and salt, because I was so miserable. I just had to change things. I didn't feel well with supplementing just pure salt, but I supplemented with vegetable stock and diluted it with water and like a vegetable soup, and drank it. So my sodium intake was quite high then, but I felt so much better the day after. Like, it was such a relief. And heart palpitations went away and things, so I'm really pretty sure I had that issue. And also, especially after banana meals, after potassium-rich meals, also after potatoes, I had such bad heart palpitations, and like I was on the run. Like it felt so scary. So I actually had to limit my potassium intake, so like also the intake of bananas and potatoes for a while when it was the worst. And I really would wish that you watch my video on adrenal fatigue and diet, because I actually managed to recover on a high carb, low fat vegan diet on Road to 4, but I had to make changes. I couldn't have continued just the way I ate before, because that would have gotten me worse. I'm pretty sure. So what I did was combine literature advice, some of the literature advice on adrenal fatigue, and on the high carb vegan diet. Now literature actually says vegetarians, let alone vegans, let alone high carb vegans, have a hard time to recover, and like it's almost impossible, they say. But for me, like, there was no way to reintroduce animal products again, because it just was beyond my like logic. For me, it was so like logic that something that is unhealthy generally and long term, unhealthy as fuck, cannot make me healthy in that particular sick state. You know what I mean? So I knew I was gonna stay vegan. Sorry. Yeah, and I knew I was gonna stay high carb because I knew that is the way. But I just made the statement for myself that my body in that sick state, my systems can't tolerate the carbs anymore as they used to. So, and that is why I got the blood sugar issues, and that is why I didn't blame my diet, but my body's condition and my lifestyle, which was wrong in that way that I overtrained, like really hard. And if you want to know how I overtrained, just watch the parts before this part. Basically, watch the whole series if you are interested, if you want to get the whole picture. So this whole topic of adrenal fatigue it got so important for me, because I suffered such a lot, and I really was afraid. Like, I didn't know what was going on inside of me, didn't know what was not working, and all of that stuff. And I had to read such a lot, but it really scared me that I did not find any advice, not any real advice, like really helping advice in the high carb community. And also, Harley, when I asked you at the festival, you really helped me, or you wanted to help me at least, by saying like the basic things, like that I have to sleep and water and sugar up. And that is, like, I agree with that, basically, in general, but I do not agree that that advice is sufficient when someone, like, when it's already too late for someone, when someone already crashed, already burned out, like already, yeah, when it's already too late. And why don't I agree with that? So my statement, as I said, is that the body is in a sick condition, in a sick state, when, at least when it got into adrenal fatigue stage 3. I explained the stages. I think it's part 1.2 or 2.1, sorry, I don't know. But I explained them how adrenal fatigue develops. So there's a stage of having too high cortisol, and that is stage 2. And when you have stage 3, so that is when you overtrain, when you have too much stress, when your cortisol goes through the roof and is high constantly, too high. And then eventually, when you don't change things, when you don't stop putting strain and stress on your body, it eventually drops to stage 3. Then that means that the cortisol is too low, that your adrenals are exhausted, that you burned out, and that is basically when you train your body successfully to be a fat storing machine, to store fat. That is what happened with me. And I know that you also, like, I've already watched you saying that too much stress and too intense and too insane workout is making your body a fat storing machine. So I'm pretty sure that you agree with that. I have the impression, I believe that you might not really know about the whole topic of adrenal fatigue. Just because I have never heard you talking about it. I might be wrong. But so, you know, and also freely, like, this is also for you. I really want to know your opinion about it, because I know from your mother that when you had been that fitness coach, that you had a period of time where you actually exercised too much as well. And I would really like to know how you noticed that you exercised too much, what it did to your body, what your symptoms were. So, you know, I'm a huge fan and promoter of yours, and still I know you're not holy, you're not like perfect, and I know you know that as well. You don't know everything, and that is why I assume that you don't know a lot about adrenal fatigue, haven't read a lot about it yet, and what really, like, what happens in the body and what is messed up in the body with hormones and sugars when someone experiences adrenal fatigue. I know you know about that thing of having too much stress, and then the body becomes a fat storing machine, gains weight, but I'm not sure if you already knew about the fact, in my eyes at least, that the body can't handle the blood sugars properly anymore, and also the potassium, sodium. So my request is, or my wish is, that you like educate yourself on that if you haven't already, and then like give your opinion about it, because I think it's I'm so shocked that it happened to me, and I just want people who experience it in the future or right now to not take that long to get help and to find advice, because I could have prevented a lot of the symptoms that I had gone through if I had found help earlier in the high carb movement. But I didn't, so I had to find the advice myself from different sources, non-high carb vegan sources that actually promote animal products in order to recover. So I kind of took what I think is right and what I can support and adapted that into my routine for diet. So again, please check out my video on adrenal fatigue and the diet adaptations that I made, and I really would appreciate your opinion on what I'm saying in there, because there's nothing like this existing already in the internet. Alright, that is the first thing, the first video, the first online thingy that actually exists on the internet on adrenal fatigue and a vegan diet, a high carb vegan diet even. So I kind of risked something by doing that, and by having put that online. It's not scientifically like proven and all of that, but that is my way of combining the high carb vegan diet and recovering from adrenal fatigue, contrarily to everything that you find on the common literature on that, alright? So I would be stoked about if you like even have better tips, if you would change anything about my adaptations, if you like actually agree with what I'm saying in there. So yeah, you address a lot of similar things to adrenal fatigue on your channels already, and like basically you also are aware and say that the life does not only consist of the diet, like it's always about the whole lifestyle. You need to have a healthy lifestyle to be healthy, and like if your lifestyle is not healthy, your diet won't work properly as well. And so that goes into that direction, because my diet was healthy and great. I ate enough, I drank enough, I ate like 3,000 calories a day. Also, the half year before, I always trained on the edge to overtraining, and then in those 2 months where I just smashed it training wise, and then crashed, like that is when my lifestyle got really, really unhealthy without me noticing it, and so my diet couldn't work anymore. But that is why I blame my lifestyle, and that is why I changed my lifestyle. I do not do any intense training anymore. I'm just having fun, like really, really low intensity. And so you already mentioned a lot that a stressful lifestyle and like fasting makes your body a fat storing machine, and also that overtraining makes you sick. What else did you mention? Yeah, Harley, you actually experienced chronic fatigue. You recovered from chronic fatigue. And my question to you, Harley, do you mean adrenal fatigue by chronic fatigue? Do you mean that you actually experience adrenal fatigue, or would you say that is something else? Because, well, in the literature, it's also another word for adrenal fatigue is chronic fatigue syndrome. So, and that was one of the symptoms that I had with adrenal fatigue, that I was chronically fatigued. So I'm really wondering, would you say you mean adrenal fatigue when you have read up on it? That would be really interesting to know. So I did sleep, water, sugar. I did the sleep thing wrong. I didn't get enough, I didn't recover enough. I didn't get enough sleep. So that's where I went wrong. I didn't go wrong with sugar and water. I did that in that time when I overtrained. I understand it takes a lot more calories when you're training a lot and stuff, but like I really didn't restrict at all my calories and water intake. I really ate like until I was stuffed. So I wish I had gotten out of there earlier, and like when it was already too late, that I could have taken the right steps earlier, without ditching the high carb vegan lifestyle. And that is what I did, and I kind of feel like I'm the first one doing it, because I haven't read anything on that on the internet. So I think most of the vegans who follow the literature and internet advice will like ditch their vegan diet, let alone high carb vegan diet, and then like say the vegan diet is unhealthy because like it crashed my adrenals, and that's like ridiculous. So I think I really want us to address this on the high carb vegan lifestyle, so people don't actually ditch the high carb vegan diet when they get into adrenal fatigue, but think about their lifestyle. Think about what else is going wrong in their life. To sum it up, what do you think of what I'm saying in this overtraining series? What do you think about it? I really want to know. And do you agree with what I'm saying about the decreased carbability? I love that term. Joe Best created it, at least that is where I heard it first. And what do you think of this decreased carbability that people have when they experience adrenal fatigue? Now, what do you think is right in terms of diet when someone is in that state of decreased carbability? And so that is most of the times accompanied by heart palpitations after meals, and also shakiness like on the run. And I list all of my symptoms in part 2.1, so you can check it out if you want. So do you agree with my video on adrenal fatigue and diet? You can find it in the description box. Yeah, basically, what is your take on all of this? And be sure, I would be so stoked and honored if you took the time and get into this. And you should know that, like, if you don't already know, that you really changed my life. I love you for what you do, and I love your passion and your heart. I'm gonna see you next. Bye.